Hello there, and welcome to World of Tanks with T29. We're here on Fisherman's Bay in counter mode, and I'm in the T29, the Tier 7 American heavy tank. It's one of my favourite tanks, one of my favourite heavy tanks, and some people rate it as one of the best of the Tier 7 heavy tanks. I can't speak for that, I haven't played all the other Tier 7 heavy tanks. It's certainly more fun, I think, than either the Black Prince or the KV3, which are the other Tier 7 heavy tanks that I've played. And I've been having some good games in it. I've decided to go back and play the T29 a lot more. I'm curious to know would I be able to manage to get a second mark of excellence on it. And I have been making some progress in that direction. So I've decided to come down to the edge of the village here on the high ground in the centre of the map. I think this location is one of the most important locations on Fisherman's Bay, and it's frequently neglected by the teams that play on the map. Heavy tanks generally go into the town and kind of brawl in the town. Well, heavy tanks like brawling in the town. However, if the enemy team dominates, or one team gets to dominate this village up here, they can spot deep into the territory of the opposition, and they can shoot flanks of tanks moving into the town or moving out of the town. The southern spawn particularly are vulnerable to tanks in the town, in the village up here in the centre of the map, to flanking fire, either if they have forced out of the town in a retreat, or they're trying to assault into the town until they actually get into the cover of the buildings. They're very vulnerable to actually fire from the central village. Now, with a T29, I don't really expect to exert a lot of pressure down south, because they don't have the view range really. It needs somebody spotting for me in order to do that, and nobody else has pushed in with me to the village, so I'm here mostly to deny the enemy team access to the village so that they can spot our people. Now, some of our tanks have moved across to the sunken area west of the road on the western side of the map, which is a kind of an important location to control also. So I came up initially, didn't spot anything, came around the building, and there's a Jagdpanzer IV giving me his flank. So I take away half his hit points, and when he turns to face me, he comes under fire from a leopard or something along those lines. So it's a pretty simple job to finish him off, and the response from artillery is quite immediate. There's 3 artillery aside on this map, so I'd have to be very careful about that. That light tank, it's another leopard, really shouldn't have hung around and let me get the shot at him. I don't think he was paying attention. Now I have to be fairly careful about artillery, because they know that I'm around, and one of them has just bounced a shot off the windmill. So I finish off the leopard, and I've taken some tracking damage from artillery, I think. So I repair my tracks and immediately pull back. However, I don't get a clean shot at that particular tank, and there's a Stuart Emil after popping up. I'll take the opportunity to hit the Stuart Emil while I have the chance, because it's a pretty dangerous tank destroyer, but I donked the initial shot because I'm firing on the move on uneven ground. And I take a wallop from artillery again, which knocks out my tracks. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So I immediately tuck in behind the building, because that artillery has buddies, and they might all decide to make my life really miserable. So I'm initially seeing if I can get some shots on this tanks that are over there on the western side, because I can stay behind the building. That's artillery again. So I take the opportunity while he's reloading to pop out and pot another one into the Stuart Emil. The Stuart Emil has hit me in the tracks. Doesn't do any damage, and he's sitting there trying to beat my reload, so I'll beat his, because the Stuart Emil actually is quite a long reload, and the reload on the T95 is not that bad. The T29 is not that bad, particularly since I have a rammer and brothers in arms in this crew. Now, I make the mistake of being a bit too obvious coming around this side of the building, and I was quite fortunate that artillery didn't hit me directly. Now that my tracks are up, I am going to try and get away from that location as quickly as I can and tuck in behind another building. I want to move forward into the village at this side, at the other side, because I'm kind of out of targets. And I pick up the Hummel, who has done the most damage to me, and I get rid of him with one shot. So then we tuck in behind the building again in case the other artillery joins in to get revenge for their fallen brethren. Now we're starting to cap, and the position of our team is actually quite solid. I had to edit out player commentary at this point where somebody was giving out about our players capping. So I got rid of the second artillery battery, the Gorilla, and I've taken damage from the Tiger P. That Tiger P actually does quite a bit of damage to me before the game's over. He's got a reasonably rapid firing gun, and he keeps ducking back because I'm more worried about the artillery in some ways than I am about the Tiger P. I'm trying to get into the low ground and put the rise of the land between me and the Tiger P. I don't want to hang around and exchange fire on a particular location or wait for the Tiger P to pop out because that Lorraine is a fast firing gun. And I completely missed that first shot. It goes completely over it, and I thought I was a goner there. Because if he hit me, I'd be a one-shot kill. So I hit him on the move, but I don't quite wipe him out. But I should get the second shot in before his reload. However, the Tiger P nearly finishes me off. As I was crossing the road there, it was one of the few places that had an intervening rise of ground between the two of us. So I'm now trying to get the turret pointed at him so that he doesn't get a shoot in my hull. He'll probably bounce shots off the front of the turret. Whereas if he hits me in the hull at all, he's likely to penetrate and finish me off. So I'm now pushing over to try and finish him off, preferably before he gets rid of the tank destroyer, but I think it's probably too late. Looks like he's gotten rid of the tank destroyer, but he is now on the low ground. So if I can catch him, the gun depression on the T29 is pretty good. So I'm closing in. I thought he'd be visible from now, but he's actually tucked in at the back here between the rock and the edge. And I've spotted him. So I get a chance to shoot his commander's hatch, and I think he wouldn't be able to bring his gun to bear on me. So that finishes him off, and it gives me the 7 kills. So I pick up a Devastator's medal, a top gun, and a high caliber, because 3,169 damage, which is pretty respectable. I get a Pascucci's medal for the 3 artillery, but I only get a first class mastery. Probably need to do, I suppose, I don't know, maybe another 1,000 points of damage to get a master ace tanker, looks like, in this tank. Which is pretty strenuous, really. I was hoping that I might be able to get it. I haven't got an ace tanker on the T29 yet. We came first by experience, so I think I've done pretty well in this game. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and please consider giving the channel a subscription. Thank you very much, and see you again soon.